I would like to welcome all the participants for this particular free webinar on recruitment and selection during COVID-19. And Rahul has already given a brief introduction. To add a little bit more to what Rahul said, yes, I was in IT industry for a very long time, and I started teaching in the educational institutions. I'm also doing corporate training since the past 4 years. Rahul also has already mentioned the subject that I teach, human resource management, strategic management, organizational behavior. I also teach business ethics and corporate governance. At the same time, I also conduct training on project management, software quality assurance and testing, and business analysis. So I really hope that each one of you is safe. Do follow the rules of this lockdown. I hope you and your loved ones are fine and doing well. So again, welcome to this webinar, and let's get started. The agenda for today's free webinar, because it's a webinar, it's a free webinar, and I'm hoping that it would take about 30 to 45 minutes. It's going to be a sneak peek of introduction, which is already over. I'm going to speak a bit on recruitment and selection, the sources of recruitment that used to happen before COVID-19, impacted each one of us globally. What are going to be the recruitment challenges? How is COVID-19 going to affect recruitment? But while, as Rahul said, a lot of companies have, either put a stop to hiring or are only selectively hiring, I truly believe that there is always some good, there's always good news. There's always, we have to also look at the brighter side. So I know for sure that there are companies who are hiring, and I'll speak about some of the companies that I know are hiring and would be happy to take question and answer. At the same time, I don't know how many, questions and answers I will be able to do it today, but I hope that this could be extended later when we do that. On a larger scale, would be welcome to answer any questions. Impact of COVID-19 on job market, on salary, benefits is something that I would like to speak. And I'm assuming that there are quite a few participants who are either fresh out of college or have not too much of experience. So yes, candidates who are either fresh out of college, who are junior level candidates, what are some of the things that they need to know? All right, you can move on to the next slide, Rahul. Yeah, introduction, perfect. So again, I've already been introduced by Rahul, and I've also spoken a bit about myself, so I don't want to talk about it. As I said, I was in the IT industry in the areas of software quality assurance and testing, people management, program management. Also had a chance to work with some wonderful leaders from whom I could learn many things. And fortunate to have worked for some good companies, as Rahul mentioned, AT&T, Visa, Pacific Bell, Excited Home, etc. And I think I was also fortunate that I had a great bunch of team members, my direct reports, who made my life as a manager really easy. Because once you have a great bunch of people, it makes much easier to lead a team. And if you ask me what has been the biggest achievement of my life, I would say it is the power of one. It's an educational trust that me and my wife started 4 years ago. The educational trust was formed to help financially poor but academically good or brilliant students earn a college degree. And I'm happy to say that in the past 3 years, 4 years since it started, but since 3 academic years, starting from 17-18, that is 2017-18, 18-19, 19-20, we have sponsored tuition fees of over, rather 81 students across many colleges in Pune. And these students are either pursuing their bachelor's or master's in arts, science, commerce, law, computer science, analytical chemistry, and so on. And the website address of the Power of One, if you get a chance, it is www.thepowerofone.co.in. You could go to Google and just do a search and you will know the details. All right, so let's get started. And, since everyone's phone is on mute, I would appreciate if there's no distraction. And just in case the phone is not muted, please do that. Ideally, I would have loved to have seen everyone face to face. I love interactive sessions, but we are at times when I think online training is going to continue for a longer period of time. So unfortunately, we can't have too much interactive session, but feel free to ask questions at the end of the session. But as I said, there's nothing like interactive sessions. I really love all my training sessions, or whenever I teach, wherever I teach, to have an open conversation with my students, with employees, and make a training that is really impactful. Okay, so getting on to why we have gathered here, recruitment, as some of you who are especially from the field of HR, and those of you who are working and also hiring people would know that recruitment is a process that kicks off whenever a company is looking to hire people. They would either hire because there's a new position open, position that needs to be filled because somebody's got promoted, somebody's got transferred, an employee may have retired, he or she may have been terminated, his job may have been terminated, permanent disability, or the person is no more. Now, if I was one of the participants, the first question that I would possibly, that is going to come to my mind is, are companies really hiring? And as I said during my introduction, the good news is, yes, I've been reading a lot of articles, and I know that a lot of companies are hiring. Now, how far is that true? Possibly it's it's something that you should find out. But some of the companies that I read different articles that are hiring includes Amazon, Google, Byju's, Tech Mahindra, Capgemini, IBM, Deloitte. These are all big companies, JP Morgan. And what is encouraging here for especially students fresh out of college is that about 80,000 of these open positions are for entry level. This is something that I found out from the net, which is actually a good news for fresh graduates. And I also read somewhere that about 40% of the roles of the positions are also for junior and mid to senior level employees. And 91% of these positions are full-time for full-time roles. So those are some good news. Whether it is really happening, I really do not know. And this is good news for people who are from IT industry, because I think most of the advertised jobs are for software engineers or senior software engineers, software developers. And for non-technical jobs, I read somewhere that sales executives, that's the one that tops the list of non-technical jobs. So speaking of recruitment, we are, if you look into, as I just said, when somebody gets promoted, is that going to happen? Well, I don't think it's going to happen very soon. Because companies are playing to, are going to wait and want to play a wait and watch game. Transfer, well, we are in a situation where it's locked down. So possibly I don't see anybody getting transferred. People who have recently retired, I'm pretty sure, or I'm quite sure that some of them may want to come back, out of retirement, because nobody expected this lockdown. If somebody or just took a voluntary retirement, somebody is still young, still looking to work, possibly may try to come out of this situation. I also mentioned that recruitment happens when somebody gets fired from the company. So I think for employees who are average performers or poor performers, I would definitely let them know to actually work hard, be smarter, because now companies, in my opinion, and I could be wrong, would be looking to actually terminate jobs for poor performers. There is absolutely no scope of employees who are ordinary performers. So for those of you, some of you who are working, are not doing the best in the job, please buckle up, do a good job, and so that companies don't let you go. And recruitment also involves attracting prospective candidates to go through the job description. Now, how much of this would happen during COVID-19 or when we come out of the clutches of COVID-19, only time will tell. But yes, it encourages people to apply for the job, and the process is to ensure that as many applicants as feasibly possible can apply for the role. And quite a few people, I'm sure, may have already lost their jobs or about to. So yes, there are going to be a flurry of applications in this new time. You can move on to the next slide, Rahul. Okay, so this was the basic introduction of recruitment. I could have gone and covered more, but again, being keeping in mind that this is a free webinar, and I have to also make sure that I don't speak more than is required. Let's move on to the next topic. So selection. Selection follows recruitment, and once the job seekers have applied for the position that was either advertised or that was there in the job portals, the process of selection gets underway, and the idea is to select the most suitable candidate. And how is that done? Basically through a fair and unbiased process. It could be phone interview followed by face-to-face interview. Some companies have multiple rounds of interviews, 2, 3 rounds, 4 rounds. Although if you personally ask me, having worked in the industry for too long, I'm not in favor of having way too many rounds of interviews. But this would change from company to company. But the idea is, yes, you select the most suitable candidate that you think would be the most deserving and who is likely to perform well for the job. Next slide, please, Rahul.